37 years, 11 straight elections that the Parti Québécois won, and sometimes very handily in Marie-Victorin. And now, on top of everything else that happened to the party in the last 2 years, they lose Marie-Victorin, their last seat in the Greater Montreal region. 4 years ago, they were wiped out of Quebec City, the capitale nationale, and now they're wiped out of Montreal. So it really looks bad right now for the Parti Québécois.
That's Philip J. Fournier talking about just how badly the Parti Québécois did in the Marie-Victorin riding yesterday, won by the CAQ at the end of the day. You know, we've all been talking about the demise of the Provincial Liberal Party and ignoring, to be fair, just how badly things are going for the PQ as well. David HEURTEL is on the line, former Quebec Liberal cabinet minister, now an analyst here at CJD as well. So, David, I wanted to talk about the Liberals because they did even worse, obviously, than the PQ did, with barely 7% of the vote. But let's talk for just a second about, as I said, the demise of the PQ. A riding, as you heard Philip Fournier saying, they've held for so many years, and all of a sudden they're becoming kind of irrelevant. Am I overstating it?
No, you're not. The Parti Québécois is basically on its way to extinction, and the signals have been there for a few years now. And this was kind of the last stand for the Parti Québécois. As you said, this riding has been held by the Parti Québécois for 40 years. Longueuil has been a traditional stronghold. I mean, the riding next door, which is Taillon, was René Lévesque's riding. Think about that. And so the idea here is that this was really the final straw in a long slide down to irrelevance for the Parti Québécois. Let's face it, the CAQ's goal since 2018 has been to take over the Parti Québécois vote, not only around Montreal, but across Quebec, and it's worked.
What does this then tell us about what we should expect in the October election?
Well, Natasha, if we're talking about the Parti Québécois, you might see them hold maybe one or two seats because they have very strong candidates. For example, Pascal Bérubé, who's been an MNA for years and years in Matapédia in the Gaspé, who has always won with over 60% of the vote over there. He might hold his seat. But they've lost some very, very well-known MNAs, Sylvain Gaudreau in the Lac-Saint-Jean region, Lorraine, I forget her last name, who's in Sept-Îles, Baie-Comeau. She's not running again. So not only are they losing support, but also their top-of-the-line candidates won't be returning. So that's going to be very hard for them to recruit any type of star candidates. This time around, they had Pierre Montel, who was very well known, who was a former federal MP in the region here on the South Shore, and he couldn't get it done.
So let me kind of weave a potential story here, okay? What this does tell us, David, to some degree, is that the Parti Québécois, their raison d'etre is separation, and that seems to be waning. We've been talking about it for a while. I think this vote proves it to some degree. That's kind of off the table right now. Do the other political parties, take Quebec Solidaire, who did relatively well in this riding, perhaps surprisingly well, do they sit and look at this and go, okay, there's no appetite for separation anymore. These votes tell us that, right? The Parti Québécois doing worse and worse tells us that. And maybe look at their own platform and say, okay, maybe we sort of set that off to the side, the way the Quebec Conservatives did. Éric Duhem makes it a point of saying, no, we're not for separation. And maybe by virtue of that, because it seems so many people like a guy like Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois, and if separation wasn't on the table, maybe they would actually get more of the vote than they're getting right now. Is there any chance of something like that happening as they look at what's going on?
I think separation and actually, the federalist separatist dynamic is over in Quebec, regardless of the party. And just, Aaron, let's look at the vote for Quebec Solidaire. They actually did a lower score than they did in 2018 in Marie-Victorin. And they actually got less than 15% of the vote this time around. They had gotten around 20% in 2018. So this is actually a setback for Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois. And actually today he's backpedaling. He's actually on the defensive in Quebec City saying something like, well, the youth vote didn't come out. Well, hold on a second there, Gabriel. You're saying that you represent youth. And so isn't it your job to get the youth vote out? That's kind of your core constituency. And he didn't deliver. And the fact is that right now, not just the Liberals and the Parti Québécois are in trouble, but even Québec Solidaire has to revise their platform because this does not bode well for October, even for Québec Solidaire. But definitely, Aaron, you're right in saying that the separatist federalist dynamic doesn't work. But the fact is, the core base of Québec Solidaire has that as one of their key pillars. And I don't see Québec Solidaire doing away with it. They won't put it on the forefront, but they can't let go of it either.
Kind of a shame. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to switch to Quebec Liberals. They seem to be dropping like flies. So 9 Liberal MNAs announcing they will not run for re-election. They came in 5th last night. Let's start with David Birnbaum. What do you make of David Birnbaum deciding not to run?
Well, I think David took these last few weeks very hard. I don't think it was any fun, and we can understand that. It wasn't easy for him. And I think after 8 years of serving as MNA for Darcy McGee, I think that precipitated a decision that was a long time coming.
Sure.
The fact is, not just for David, Natasha, but a lot of these MNAs for the Liberal Party, they came in, a lot of them back in the Charest era, in 07, 08. And David came in 14 when the Liberals won. I was part of that team in 2014. Those are all elections, one, that the Liberals won, and two, that the Liberals had a real shot at forming government. And the other component is looking at what's coming. I think it says a lot that a lot of these MNAs don't want another 4 years in the opposition, because that's what seems to be ahead of them.
All right, let's look at this beyond David. So this is 9 out of 27 Liberals sitting right now in the National Assembly. And we're not done, because let's say someone like a Pierre Arcand, I've spoken to him before, I get the impression he's probably not going to run again. What does this do to the party itself in terms of Dominique Anglade, who's the leader? She's not going anywhere before October. So the party gives up on this election. They know they're not going to win anything significant. They just, I imagine, hope to hold on to what they do have, at least on the island of Montreal. What does the future portend for them?
Well, it's going to be a very long and difficult road, because this is a catastrophic result in Marie-Victorin. I mean, this is less than 7% in a riding where we usually do double digits. And so this means that the entire platform right now is not working, and you're 5.5 months away from the election. And as you said, other MNAs will probably decide not to run again. The problem is recruiting is going to be very difficult. And on top of that, you have a lot of volunteers and key organizers that are now busy with Jean Charest's leadership run on the federal side. So not a lot of bench strength in terms of both organization, volunteers, and potential candidates. And I think a lot of people will stay on the sidelines, not just voters, because a lot of voters stayed home last night in Marie-Victorin. A lot of Liberal voters stayed home. But also, I think a lot of people, a lot of potential candidates are going to wait. And I think it's going to be the type of situation like the federal Liberals went through under Michael Ignatieff and Stéphane Dion, where we're going to have to hit the bottom of the barrel and go through another 4 years of rebuilding before we can see the Liberals become relevant again.
Wow.
Which camp are you in? Are you, feeling more inclined to sit on the sidelines, wait it out, or are you feeling the call, David?
Well,
come on, David.
Well, the call is always there. I mean, I'm not. I've told you this before. We talked about this,
yes.
Natasha and Aaron. That I'm not saying no to return in politics. Am I announcing this today? No. But the fact is that I'm following this very closely. Right now, I'm very happy with what I'm doing on CJAD, for example. But the fact is that I can't tell you in good conscience, in all honesty and integrity, that I'm putting an X on one day maybe coming back into politics. But it's definitely not in the cards right now.
So not done for good necessarily. Have you been approached about coming back?
There have been discussions. Definitely, there have been certain discussions, but nothing serious and nothing that went very, very far.
So on those pretend discussions, if you were to come back, David, would it be because you'd come back as leader of the party, or just to try to get another cabinet post in once you became the party in power?
Well, first of all, look, when I went into politics the first time around, the Liberals were in the opposition, 10 points back of the PQ back in 2013. So this is not about, if I go back into politics, it's not about necessarily having a cabinet post or being leader. First of all, the Liberal Party of Quebec has a leader. So the job is not available right now. And so I'm not going to talk about or speculate about a job that doesn't exist right now. And two, the thing about the future, we'll see. But the thing is that I think politics are important. We need to contribute. And the fact there's a lot of things going on that I follow that are close to my heart. But the fact is, right now, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not there yet. But we'll see. We'll see down the road.
That's a fair answer, and I guess I could say I can surmise from that it would not be, if you did decide to go back, it would be not be a member of the Quebec Conservative Party.
No, I don't see my values being aligned with Éric Duhaim's right now. No.
Want to tick off all the right boxes. Okay, David, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it as always. Good talking to you.
Mm-hmm. Great to talk to you, Aaron and Natasha.
David HEURTEL. So he could. He's had discussions kind of sort of in a way, but not happening today.
The door's open.
So to speak. Just this,
well,
maybe
a little
that
bit
much.
Anyway.
Just that
it's not,
much.
Let's say it's not closed.
Right. That's
probably a better
say.
way to put
yes.
it. Yeah.